Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blacker,
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
and this is the How Hustle Mystic Morning Show. Today, we're talking with Fallon Jordan, one of our favorites,
Yes.
and we are talking about dementia prevention. And we're also talking about cognitive support and just a bunch of great things to just help our brain rejuvenate and get on it, especially in our younger years.
Yes. So dementia is one of those things that is really in the media right now, especially since uh, what is the really popular actor that was did all the action movies?
Chris Hemsworth,
No.
Bruce
Yes. Oh
Willis.
my gosh. Thank you, Bruce Willis.
Thank you.
And they have a memoir kind of coming out, and it's, being televised with, I want to say Barbara Walters, but it's, one of those things that you don't really see the ins and outs of what people really struggle with that particular disease. And it's one of those things where it's so untimely. You don't think it's going to happen to you,
You
but
ever.
it's definitely showing up in many more places. So we're excited to be talking with Fallon today. But before we get into it, Jeneth, how was your weekend? How are you doing?
Oh my goodness. We had so much fun this weekend. My daughter was gone last week. So we just I just kind of did empty nest for a week,
Okay.
which was very interesting. Just kind of being like, wow, I can walk around the house naked. I'm kind of liking
Hey,
this.
I haven't had that in forever.
Yeah. And
So,
we just really kind of had a stay vacation in a weird way,
yeah.
especially over the weekend until she came back, in which case it all crashed down.
You're so funny. But it is kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
a
obviously my husband and I haven't had that since before Horizon.
husband,
So
right?
yeah. Everything is like post and pre. What about anything else? Any
Well, I wanted
awarenesses?
to share,
Okay.
and Fallon, we can talk about this later, but
A little
when
morning
I
brew.
was preparing for this call, I got out all my drugs for cognitive support, and we
Yay.
started going through the list. This is called PQQ, and it's also got coenzyme 10 in it, which they work really well together, and we can talk with Fallon about that. Got up the link and I put these links on Amazon along with a couple others. So if you do want to look, that will be in the caption on YouTube, and I will add it to the chat in just a few minutes. But basically, I took both of these this morning. My brain
Hey.
is a little on fire, let me just tell you. I was like, wow, I'm kind of feeling like it like just kicked in.
Honestly, I just took one. I sound really echoey, but honestly, I just took one as well, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm feeling that. That's nice." I
Yeah.
have, and you
It's like,
said
I
you.
mean, what I said is I notice when I don't take them.
Oh,
And I don't take them every day. This one especially, I take like every 3 to 4 days,
yeah.
and it's recommended doses too, and I take one. And and I can really tell when I go off of it. And I've noticed that even my thoughts are clearer.
Ooh.
And so that I do recommend it. This one is pricey. You can't get it on Amazon, but we can give you information about it. And then I linked some of the other pieces, and we can go through all the ingredients that are also in this. I would love to do that as
Yeah,
well.
tell
Yeah,
us about it.
well, I don't have it up right now, but
Oh,
we can
okay.
do it when
Oh,
we're talking with Ellen.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it might be on sale right now, so it might be
This one
okay.
right now is half off. I don't know how long, and it's on Amazon, and I'll put the Amazon shop in the
Awesome.
chat real soon as you start talking.
And one thing
So
I
that's
wanted
what
to
we have
point
to
out,
hunt out.
since this is our morning brew with Woo, is that anything that we suggest here, as far as like any products or anything like that, we would never suggest them unless it's something that we use ourselves. And so I was kind of
Right.
giving Jeneth like the third degree. I was like, okay, so how do you know you're really experiencing like I
Yeah.
was like, because if we're gonna share with our audience, like I want to make sure, and she knows this too, but I was like, I want to make sure that we always let you know that we will only again share products and services and wonderful speakers like Fallon unless we truly believed in those.
Yeah,
So yeah, so
absolutely.
just note that. Anyway, I don't have any Mystic Space weather news.
Okay.
There was the satellites were actually offline over the weekend. So I thought that was really interesting. And then we are also experiencing, after a solar storm and a CME, some of the different states, it said about 15 different states would be able to see the aurora borealis over the weekend. So that lets me know that a lot of activity has gone on. So again, if you're feeling really cray cray, just know that we have entered into a new time of coming out of the Lionsgate and entering into a new 9/9 of the year. So basically, anytime that you have a 9 year, it's really inviting us to let things fall by the wayside. And I know I keep saying this like a broken record, but because we are in a solar maximum in this year, which comes every 11 years, this is a really important time because that is also coupled with the fact that we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And so as we ascend and we want to be our best selves, that even if you don't subscribe to the idea of ascension, if we want to be our best selves, then we should really be investing our time or our energy, like Taylor Swift. You shared that really cute quote where she's like, treat
Yep.
your energy like luxury
Yes.
item.
Absolutely.
Like, she knows, like,
Yeah, she
no one
does.
should be able to get to your energy without, paying their dues, right? So it's very, very, very sacred. And again, it let things fall by the wayside that no longer look that are appealing for your highest good. And you can really check in with your highest good by just simply saying a prayer, and you really get some feelings in your body. So those are the things that I'm just reminding you to do. And of course, always do the hydration, get it grounded in nature, and give yourself grace. And that's what I got from Mystic Space Weather News.
Yes.
Yay. Well, let's jump into it. We always try to believe in creating the community and everything like that. So we do a little bit of intro and hanging out with you guys, but definitely want to get in with Fallon because she's got some amazing stuff to share with us today. And as we're pulling her up, I'll just give you a little bit about her bio. It says Fallon Jordan is the world's leading brain health coach, brain health professional, and brain health trainer. She is the founder of Quantum Brain Health Coaching, a certification program that unites the metaphysical with neuroscience and holistic mental health, i.e., brain health products. Fallon has helped clients heal their brains and relationships, including her own. And she brings over a decade of experience, including mastering the healing strategies that most people have never heard of. And after an extensive battle with ADHD, depression, anxiety, PTSD, she healed her own brain while becoming a certified brain health facilitator by the age of 28. And she has supported over 15,000 medical and mental health clinicians in their practice, over 8,000 clients in their mental health journeys. And today she's on a mission of creating systemic change and generational healing when it comes to our health, relationships, and wealth and intuitive gifts. So, Fallon, welcome. That is quite the extensive background. And I just wanted people to know that because you do come to us. I mean, yes, we hang out as chicas and girlfriends, but you do come to us with a really high level of expertise.
High level.
And we're so excited. Yeah.
Let me just say, as a degreed nutritionist,
that's right. I feel like I'm always
that knows enough.
So I feel
don't
like
know enough about this topic at all.
Oh, wow.
Mm-mm.
Well, as
Just
a degree,
one toe in.
So being with you ladies, I feel like I'm even like maybe I represent more of what the audience kind of feels like. I mean,
right.
I feel like maybe the audience is probably a little more clued in than I am because I'm like all business and I went and did some computer science and in college and stuff like that, but I never really followed the body. Even I was always interested in like the earth or geophysics, but like when it comes to the body, it's just like
see, and I'm just the opposite. I'm all into the body.
I know. Right? That's why I think you make such a great partner. You're always like, Slanyanka? She's always checking me because I'm always like, oh, my stomach or something. She's like, are you doing the tools? Are you listening to yourself?
The thing is, even just like the subtlest thing, like heartburn, could be an awareness and an indication that something could really be going on beyond just like, oh, I ate peas last night or something, whatever you conclude about that food. So Fallon, welcome. Thanks for being here.
I will say that I did DM Bruce Willis and his entire family on Instagram telling them I would love to serve them. I have not heard back.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. Well, at this point, it might be that they're like, we've got this, we've got, doing what the things are doing. There's probably like a lot of people in that way.
Yeah.
So I mentioned Chris Hemsworth at the beginning because he has a new document series out. I believe it's on either Hulu or Netflix. And in that series, he finds out he does a genetic blood test where they actually say he has two precursors to Alzheimer's or dementia, which I know they're a little bit different. I don't know what the difference between Alzheimer and dementia actually is. And maybe we can even start right there.
Totally. Yeah, that's perfect. So dementia is an umbrella term.
Okay.
Alzheimer's is one type. So
Okay.
there's Lewy body that some people might be familiar with, Parkinson's disease. I personally think is under that umbrella. Some people don't. Then there's like frontotemporal dementia. And then there's even things like pseudodementia, which is where someone looks like they have dementia, like memory loss, but it's actually when we look at the brain and their symptoms, it's actually a depression that hasn't been addressed. And the craziest thing is that we have these different types of dementia, one of them being Alzheimer's disease. And they're actually saying that CTE, which the football players get, is actually its own type of Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, wow.
And you can actually see on a brain SPECT scan, like Dr. Amon's study that he did on this, he can literally look at someone's brain scan and tell like 80% guess which position they played in the NFL because the pattern is so specific to someone who is constantly on the front lines and just hitting repeatedly versus someone who only gets hit hard once every, few games or whatever. Yeah. Right. And it's the people who are getting the repetitive hits that they don't even think are anything that are getting the CTE the fastest. And so when I look at people like Bruce Willis and I look at people like Allie from The Notebook, like I've helped people that are that severe. It's about the family having even just like a tiny glimmer of hope. And most people that come to me at that stage had some type of spiritual intervention where God like shook them and is like, hey, don't lose hope. Try this thing that we haven't tried yet. Wow. And so we do that together, which is just so magical. But I think the most important thing is when we're talking about labs and stuff like that with genetics. So we know here, like we can change our genes. Like if I was living my genetic biology, it would be, I would be basically a demon. So that's clearly not the case. But the thing is when it comes to dementia, the lab work that people really should be doing that's the most important is a blood panel, and it's called the RECODE. And it's
RECODE.
And it's by Dr. Dale Bredesen, who is one of the few neurologists I can count on one hand who I love and adore and share clients with. And he was actually already a normal, quote unquote, normal trained neurologist. And then someone close to him got diagnosed. And he was going to all of his colleagues who were like the best all around the world, could not figure out what was going on. And then he had this aha, which I think a lot of people have when they hear me speak or they do one of my master classes or whatever. They were like, okay, so this isn't about all of these doctors being wrong. It's about the actual system and how they were trained that isn't looking at the right things. And so he went totally rogue and learned everything. And my favorite book, so he has The End of Alzheimer's, which is his like most famous book. And it goes into the RECODE protocol, which is what I use to detect my dementia and Alzheimer's risks, which at age 28, I had a significant risk of getting dementia.
Wow.
And it's because I had mold and heavy metals. I had really high testosterone and really low progesterone.
Wow.
And then I also had markers for all the concussions that I had, because when your soft little brain, that's the consistency of soft butter floating in your skull full of sharp bony ridges, gets hit and you get these concussions and this trauma, it's damaging your pituitary gland. And that's actually the part of your brain that regulates your hormones, which is another reason why a lot of football players get really tired and they gain weight and they don't know why. And it's because their testosterone has completely diminished because of the damage that was done to their brain and to the part of their brain that's responsible for their testosterone development. And so when you do these types, when you do the recode, it tells you exactly what's going on. And one of the measurements is the typical quote unquote genetic precursor. It's called the APOE gene. Everyone has an APOE gene, but you have a 2-number sequence. Like mine is 2/3, which is good. So when you have a 1-2, that's good. A 1-3, that's good. If you have a 4, that makes you more likely to develop the plaques of Alzheimer's, specifically because our cells, I literally think of it as like a stop with a traffic light. You stop, you go, you stop, you go. And we, even in the energy world, we understand that, right? Like we need to like clear and let things go before we heal and integrate something new. Same concept. So people that have a 4 APOE variant, they just have a really lazy, hungover traffic cop. The traffic light's not working. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's where the quantum comes in, because there are so many things that you can do to have your traffic cop working like super well and to make sure that your traffic light is always working. And so that's what's the difference, because I had a family of 3. They were 3 sisters. They were, I think, 2 years apart. They were in their 60s. Like, we just want to like prevent dementia. Like, we just lost our dad. It was horrible. And the sister who had a 4 variant had the healthiest looking brain and the healthiest looking labs.
Wow.
And she was just the happiest. Like, she had the best energy. I immediately really liked her. And it's because she married the right man. She gets I know, right? She gets her olive oil imported from her friend in Sicily, and she pours it on everything that she eats. She still has fun, right? She still has ice cream with her grandchildren and drinks wine. But when you have the healthy fats, because your brain is literally fat and water, if you have really high quality water and healthy fats in your brain every day, a lot of these other things aren't as important as a typical biohacker or nutritionist would tell you. And this is obviously like my POV, but her sisters who had, like 1s and 2s in their APOE variant. So basically they got lucky. Their brains looked the worst. Their blood work looked the worst. They were so scattered and frazzled. Like, they were a total hot mess. And they just didn't even understand how it was all connected. And so when I teach the way that I teach now, it's because I've seen so many examples of people that were told there was nothing that could be done, which is total BS, or B, they thought that they did the right testing and they didn't think that they had as big of a problem as they thought, or their doctor was just like, it's normal, keep going. But when you do blood work like the recode and you look at all of these different things, then you can dig further if you need the specific mold testing, if you need the specific Lyme disease testing. I would honestly say like 70%, and I was in the South at this point, a lot of hunters. So 70% of the men that I worked with who were diagnosed with like stage 3, stage 4 Alzheimer's actually had Lyme disease, and they had had it for a very long time and they didn't know it. But over time, their testosterone's going away, their personality is changing, their dynamics with their family is changing, because most of these men, again, this was the South, like they're very big, manly men, like they are the protector, like they're the leader in their family. So for them to start crying over something like a family dinner was not normal for them. And it's because they had no testosterone. And so when we went over all of the proper testing and then gave them the information that they needed to get their brain back, that's when things started to happen. And back to the original thing we're talking about at the beginning about supplements. So I only know Dr. Amen supplements because that's what I was helping clients with for 10 years. But I did know the science medical director at the time, Dr. Paris Kidd, 2 R's, 2 D's. And he's like the most high vibe guy. And like, it's so weird because he's like his whole life has been about deep, nerdy science. He studied phosphatidylserine, which if you look at a supplement bottle, it'll just say PS for short. Phosphatidylserine is actually one of the most powerful memory boosting supplements. And he studied it for like 20 years. Like if you Google phosphatidylserine into PubMed.gov, like there's a pretty good chance that his name is next to the reference. And that's because phosphatidylserine, he's very passionate about it. So it made me very passionate about it. And it's one of the ingredients that I always recommend people to take. And I mean, as you can imagine, because it's boosting memory and cell function so much more efficiently than some of these other ingredients. I have kids with ADD that are taking it, and their attention and memory is getting better. So that's my favorite memory boosting ingredient, phosphatidylserine. And then with the acetyl carnitine, which Jenna said she's taking 200 milligrams, I would go up towards like 665 milligrams.
Wow.
Because, and I'm going to say why in a second. And then my guide.
Sorry, can I get that again? How many milligrams?
665, or at least around there.
Wow. So
yeah,
I'm taking like 60 a day. And you're saying I need 665?
You're in the PQQ, the acetyl L-carnitine dose is 200 milligrams.
Oh, okay. So
I
want
prefer you doing something closer to 665 acetyl N-carnitine.
So that's CoQ10.
I love how
I'm just trying to figure it out. Just
I know
and the audience.
It's
so
okay.
that's CoQ10 that I should be taking. Because I know that's a separate supplement too, correct?
Yeah. Let me pull up what I'm showing.
This one says coenzyme Q10.
Correct. It has that in
30,
it, but she's saying that it's
right.
way not enough.
Okay, so I take none of these.
It's okay. And I do want to say that, you know, I took these supplements for a long time, and it was because I felt like I was broken and I needed to be fixed, and I got a ridiculous discount on the supplements.
I love it.
But I don't feel like everyone needs to take these supplements for that long. Like there's some people that only need like 6 months of a very vigorous protocol. And these are some of the ingredients that I recommend.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you guys, what's in the chat today? I'm going to go ahead and put in the YouTube caption as well, just so that you've got it
readily available anywhere where you see words that we will put that there. So
exactly. And
want to be a resource.
I also outline all of this in my masterclass, which if you go to fallonjordan.com, it's like my freebie that you can get, because this is so important. So these ingredients, along with a high dose omega-3 and a high multivitamin, which of course, if you haven't heard me talk before, I get on my high horse about making sure your vitamin D is high. If you email me or Instagram message me a picture of your recent lab work and it shows your vitamin D is over 80, I will gift you a free course. This is how passionate I'm about vitamin D. That's great. If you do all of those things for 6 months, it significantly increases blood flow. And this is the exact protocol along with bioidentical hormones and hyperbaric oxygen therapy that have been used to help the NFL players heal their brains. And I'll tell you what, first of all, I got to meet one of the hottest NFL players of all time. And it takes I don't normally get nervous.
It's not a bad day at the office.
It was not. And I wasn't expecting, because when he played, he was huge. And when I go out there, it's this like, you know, kind of slim cut 6'5" guy. I'm like, oh my God, are you him? And to see his face, and it was just a happenstance. This is actually not like normal protocol at Amen clinics, but because he was VIP, I got to do his intake. I got to see his brain. I got to like help him with his journey. And then by happenstance, I happened to be there when he came to the clinic in person. You know, these guys are paranoid. They don't want anything emailed. So we drove all the way from Tennessee, and I handed him his new brain scan 6 months after the protocol. And we both just like looked at each other and cried. He's like, "Are you sure this is my brain?" And I said, "Yeah, it is."
Wow. So that's how fast a brain can change. I mean, we know that just from thought alone, like can change the neuroplasticity of a brain. I mean, we're talking like decalcification. Is that the best word to use for it?
Yeah.
Detoxing, decalcification of it. That's fabulous. And I think that in the conscious woo industry, there's probably a whole other conversation around decalcifying the pineal glands and how support that.
Exactly. And I will say that I'm very anti-medicine. And one of the things about the pharmaceutical, at the pharmaceuticals that you actually like the little pill, but the energy of the company, the energy of people that are involved, they're specifically actually targeting your pineal gland and the mitochondria in your heart. And so we kind of just saw this with like the COVID stuff, like with like the vaccines and people getting injured. But your heart, we thought that all of our cells only had 1 mitochondria per cell, but your heart has over 5,000 mitochondria per cell, which like literally just blows my mind, which tells me that those are even more opportunities we have for healing, even more opportunities we have for activation. But if you're taking pharmaceuticals, it's lowering your ability to have natural healing. And because the brain can heal so incredibly fast, we really need to look at all of the different facets. And I mean, I've had people, so when I do healing sessions for people, the gift is that I get a very specific, and sometimes it's very silly, little exercise for people to do so that their thing doesn't come back, whether it's like back pain or brain fog or whatever. And more times than not, there is something that they have to do here in their third eye that's involved in the little exercise to get their function back.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important for people to know too, is it's literally all connected. And there's two sides, right? There's the people who never have thought about getting this testing before. They have no idea what their vitamin D level is. They're doing energy work. They're speaking with their guides. They're hanging out with their crystals. They're pulling their cards, but they just need support with this physical stuff. And
I get that.
It gets to be short term. And then these are the people I tend to see. They're taking all the supplements. They're drinking the water. They're doing all of these biohacker things, but they're not connecting to their heart. They're not working on their energy fields. They're not working on their energetic discernment, which is my new thing for boundary.
I like that. I like that.
And so all of these things are equally important, but the physical brain healing is short term. The energy, the fun stuff, that's long term, and that's going to shift and change as you shift and change. I mean, I was journaling for like 2 hours a day for 6 months when I was like, I need to reprogram my subconscious.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to do that. And, thankfully, because that's a lot of time. I do want to pause for a second and look at some of the things in the chat.
No, we were going to read them. One of them was about aluminum foil. So what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, is using aluminum foil all your life going to give you dementia? I don't think so. Absolutely not. But it's a piece to a bigger puzzle. And this is actually really fun if you have kids or grandkids who are really young. You bring out the periodic table of elements. I think of whatever his name is from Big Bang Theory's shower curtain, like a very fun way to look at the periodic table of elements. And it's like, do we want this in our body? Do we want this in our body? We don't want aluminum in our body, but we want magnesium in our body. We want selenium in our body. We want chromium in our body. We don't want, mercury and lead in our body. So when we start thinking of this divine technology as a physical body, that's when things start to shift. And there are these tools that we have like right there. So that is my answer for you, sweet Shira. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that right. I know what it's like when people mispronounce her name, so I'm sending you love. I came in late. Fallon mentioned what is the best lab test to have done. I'm not super concerned about Alzheimer's, but I'm concerned about the weight I've gained and how unbelievably tired I am all the time. Yes. So it's the I'm going to put it in the chat again, Bredesen Recode. And this is really about you partnering with either your current medical team, and if they're not going to be loving, supportive partners, then you can literally just go to a LabCorp and pay cash for it. But I will say, if you're over the age of 30, you have to be worried about Alzheimer's because it starts in the brain 20 to 30 years prior. And this lab work and then brain scans that measure blood flow and brain activity can actually show you that. And I know that you came in late, Paula. I mean, I worked at the world's best brain clinic, wasn't expecting my brain to be as bad as it was, but I literally had, and this is the thing where the brain sometimes is like magic 8 ball for those of us who are magic 8 ball obsessed little girls. Your brain literally shakes. We look to see what it's going to show, and that's what the brain scan in the labs did. And of the 3 places in my brain to be the most damaged and the rest of my brain to be relatively healthy, the 3 places where it was damaged from my concussions were the 3 places that make you susceptible to dementia. So I technically had pre-dementia at age 28.
Yeah.
And was literally the highest performing person in this company. But like, that's why we looked early, right? And even my labs, my doctor who ran my labs, he's like, I can't believe how jacked up your blood is. And I was like, well, that's why I wanted to look. And that's why this prevention stuff is so important, especially for kids, because the dark is coming after your kids, guys. Like, they want their precious starseed gifts and they're trying to take them. I literally saw a post yesterday that there's like this ridiculous amount of radiation just in the public schools from the screens, let alone what the screens do to their developing minds, let alone the environment and the energy of all of that. So it's like, it's so important for us, but it's so important for our kids. I'm really, really, really passionate. And I'm sure at some point my whole life is going to be just like literally working and teaching kids, because they're seeing things that are not good in their family lineage, and they're deciding like, is this something that I'm doomed for? Is this something I can change? And then people like you that show up here and are like, I'm going to do this work and I'm going to teach my kids and my grandkids exactly what I did. You know, my mission is by 2050 to have, you know, dementia, autoimmune, and Alzheimer's and cancer be extremely rare diagnoses by 2050.
It's not a popular thing with big pharma, though. That doesn't help them get no money. You know,
$15 billion a day are spent to program us that we need something outside of ourselves to heal, including a pill, which is again why I love, love, love supplements. And I share the most powerful supplements that I know cause brain changes literally just in weeks of you taking them. But they're short term because I don't want you depending on anything outside of yourself to heal.
So if I were to take coenzyme Q and in that quantity, you're saying I could probably just take it for 6 months and see how it goes and then get off of it. And then off I go having a better brain.
Exactly.
Okay. I like it because it's kind of a cumulative effect.
And like I tell people, like, this is the thing that's so good about knowing more about your unique biology. You're a 1 in a trillion miracle. You have over 60,000 miles of blood veins alone, which is the amount of circling the entire earth twice, which is like so mind-blowing. Your physical body needs support. Once you have a map of how to do that through things like brain scans, which I do as a part of my medical energy scans, blood work, and then things like your human design, you have a plan. So when I was taking a lot of supplements for my PTSD and my ADHD, I knew what worked for me. So if God forbid I ever, you know, have a kid and then my ADHD flares or whatever, I know what supplement's going to work for me specifically to get my brain back on track. So it's not even just about this healing for now. It's again, like teaching it to others, but also having it for yourself and knowing what your unique coding needs. It's the same supplement, you know, choosing the supplement and the combination that's going to work best for you as a healer, right? A lot of us say the same cool stuff, but someone's frequency is going to change the way that you absorb that information, and you're going to get it. And you're going to be like, all right, I am going to journal this for 1 hour every day because I feel like it's really going to work this time. It's the same concept.
Got it.
Yeah. So this has 3 things in it. It has the PQQ, the coenzyme Q, and it has L-carnitine, which was funny because I did a study on it and metabolism when I was in college. So it's all of that combined in this little bottle that you're saying that okay. I just wanted to clarify for the chat.
And I'll send you my link for the supplements.
Okay. Well, and I also put in this one in the chat earlier.
Totally.
Are you open to taking a live question?
Yes, I am researching Elaine Stokes' question right now.
Yes, and I know she's had her hand raised for a little while.
This is just fascinating. And I
Yeah.
guess, I mean, there's some other questions that we've got about this
We
one
live
for
in a
you
stressful
too.
world. It's easy to
Oh my God, I love questions. I'm like, Karen, Toby Awesome. Shout out to Karen. I love her so
Yeah, I
much.
love Karen. She's fun. And so for anyone that knows, Karen joins us normally for our summits, and she'll be joining us again in October. But for
Yay!
that we do have Fallon joining us for the
Yeah, and
upcoming summit. So that's super exciting. We get to take this conversation and even
I'm
go
so excited.
And
know.
in a different direction around the
Exactly.
brain too.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you're like, yes, it's so funny because I wasn't really cared as much until you were on the show. And then I was like, oh my gosh, of course I should care.
Yeah.
My husband's mother has Lewy dementia, and she's, I mean, really just in and out all the time. So it's
She
you
can
know,
come back.
Oh,
well, I
see.
don't know that she wants to be honest.
That's
At
the
this point.
difference,
right?
right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the difference. I had one client who didn't want to come back because he just took care of his entire family. He was a billionaire. And then he just got to dementia and he was like, screw all you guys. I'm just gonna like do a bunch of cocaine and have sex with hookers. And I'm like, I can't
Wow.
compete with that.
Absolutely, right?
That's
You
one
crack
out of
me
like
up.
2,000 people. So Elaine, I looked at their website. I can't really tell what they do, and that annoys me as a sales and marketing person. It looks kind of like neurofeedback, so I'm not sure if that's what Saraset is. And yes, there is an Eamon clinic still in Miami, and then there's a few in California. No, I am not there. I've not been there for 2 years. And if you want to go, I highly recommend it. If you want to spend $5,000 in a very different, efficient way, then I would definitely apply to have a evaluation with me.
Yeah, Linda has a good question on the chat. She's like,
Okay.
what would be your recommendations for to do for our parents as we notice that they're having some cognitive dysfunction?
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay. So I love the supplements that I put the ingredients. It's called
Okay.
Brain and Memory Power Boost. Pretty
Great.
self-explanatory. But
Okay.
they also have a powder that if people can't do pills, I hate pills. So I did the powder and it was delicious. It tasted like a orange drink, basically. So that's fantastic. And like you could give it to somebody, and I think this is why I waited till right now to say it. Like you could give it to somebody and tell them it's this special cocktail and put it in a fancy glass and like make them drink it, and it's going to help their brain. So
Right.
I think that that's one
I
of
like
the
that
really
idea.
cool things. So that supplement for sure would be the most important thing to get them started on. I would invest in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber for your family. I have a company that I use that you can get a high quality, brand new chamber for your home for less than $10,000, which is like basically unheard of unless you're going to a sketchy person or a sketchy company. And you can learn more about that at fallonjordan.com/HBOT, HBOT.
Okay.
I'm very passionate about that.
And we're happy to get any of these links for you guys.
Yeah. And I'm pretty loud and proud about this, like on all my social media and my website. Like I want to make sure you have all the resources because I know what it's like to only have so much money and so much time to invest in certain things. And you're like, is this the thing?
Sure.
But the most powerful things are definitely those supplements and then the hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And the thing about the hyperbaric is that if you or anyone you know, love, and trust has a medical background, you can actually start using that with clients. You can
That's what I
literally
was thinking.
you can literally make your money back from the investment.
That's what I
in a
was
month.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, man, I could like make I was like, we could do a community one here, or
Yeah.
you know, or one that, and then I was like, oh wait, you can do, you know, you can offer services for your clients, right? Like
Exactly.
oh
Yeah.
man, that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a really amazing course how I teach practitioners how to do that. So
Yeah.
that they're
Okay.
confident, because again, like nurses, therapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, like they have big hearts. They're very sweet, but the ones that get away are like basically telling the doctors finally to fuck off. But some people like my best friend, like her heart's just so big and she's just like, okay, doctor, like whatever you say, even though she knows things like this are going to be the thing that helps people.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want to do anything, $10,000 to help you, your entire family, your neighborhood, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've
That's a
seen
drop
it
in the bucket.
change lives. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen people who have a non-verbal, non-potty trained autistic grandchild and they put them in the chamber and a week later they're normal, quote unquote normal, but like
so
they're
crazy.
potty trained, they're starting to speak words. Like you have to understand that the brain, you know, it's a processor, right? Just like our computers, like we have a processor and we have like the hard drive and the software. It's the same with this. And so again, with the quantum stuff sprinkled on top, makes it extra powerful.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some people, they need that extra little hit of that oxygen, or they need that special blend of ingredients that they haven't tried yet all together to boost serotonin. And literally that was all that they needed. You know, it was that tipping point, really. And that's the same on the side of the symptom showing, you know, a lot, especially at least for me, like the women that I work with dementia, it's been long and progressed, and then the family finally started to do something with it. Men, it's so much more overnight because our brains are so different. And you think of a man with anxiety versus a woman with anxiety. If a man has anxiety, it's pretty short-lived. Women, we're pretty much just built to be anxious because we're worried about taking care of everybody. So that's reflected in how symptoms come out. You know, you know, me doing something I don't normally do. I feel like my friends are kind of used to that. That's like my brand. It's like, what is she doing now? What is she going to say
That's
now?
me too.
Versus like if a man starts doing something different, they're like, oh,
yes.
why did dad just say that? Or why did he just do that? That seems really abnormal.
Yeah.
And then that's the catalyst. Like, okay, we need to get the right lab work. We need to figure out what's going on. And, you know, MRIs and CT scans, like they're only going to show if there's dead tissue or a tumor or a brain bleed. 90% of the thousands of clients I've worked with, whether it was for dementia or other stuff, their MRIs and CTs were normal, which then even made them feel more medically gaslit because they didn't know things like brain SPECT imaging or PET scan imaging or QEEG were available. And I mean, I think I've had 1 or 2 kids that were only 4 years old who had brains that didn't show some type of past concussion because they were so young and they, you know, weren't coming in for ADHD. Obviously, they weren't running into stuff. But the real epidemic is that brain trauma is so common because our brains are so soft and they're just floating in our skull.
Yeah.
And so that's really the thing. And that's why I'm grateful that, you know, I saw this company the other day that is selling TBI first aid kits, which has always been something that I want, because if you do take certain ingredients right after concussion, and resveratrol is one of those, Jenith, I know you're taking that.
Right.
It literally helps you. It helps your brain not actually come into having a concussion. Like you can actually heal it on site. And so we're starting to understand this more, but it's the difference of, you know, someone who has like a severe brain injury and becomes a totally different person. Their MRI scan does show brain damage because they literally broke their skull. But there's all of us are most of us are walking around having significant past concussions that are hindering our way of thinking. They're hindering our cognition. They're hindering our emotional regulation. And we don't even know it, which is why it's so important for us to start talking about this stuff. And, you know, I always try my best. I'm not always great with it, but like I try to teach things in a way that like a little kid can understand, because I've had little kids as clients and they're like, yeah, I'm like, what are your goals for being here? Like, what do you want to accomplish? And they're like, I just want to be a better brother. I want to be more patient. And I'm like, why don't you just like melt my heart right out of my body?
Yeah.
And then that's what I asked them later, like months later. I'm like, hey, remember when I told you that you're going to have to kind of drink this silly orange drink for a little bit? Like, how are you doing? And like, oh my God, so good. Like my sister and I are getting along. And it's just like, that's what it's about. It's about like helping people. Like Dr. Amen says, like having a good brain and making it great so that you don't have these significant disorders, which, you know, I help people go from disorder to divine order through the things that I teach. But we really have the opportunity, and we talk about this. We talk about the superhuman stuff, and like my goal is to levitate. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
Right.
let's go.
Move stuff with my mind.
Been doing it before.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can do that when we give our physical
Yes.
cells and our
Yes.
DNA and our soul everything that it needs, which I will just again add that human design is an important piece. And I've had clients or, you know, colleagues and friends who doing well, they're doing the stuff that I teach. They've been doing it a long time, but they're like, something still feels off. And it's their human design, and they're not paying attention to their ideal environment. They're not living their energy type, and they're not paying attention to their digestion type, which is actually something that's like very under valued and shared, I think, in the human design world. And for some of my clients, I mean, it's been like literally a game changer, and it's stuff that most people already know, right? Like I like to eat one thing at a time, and like that's actually how I'm supposed to eat, right? And so and
according
then,
to your human design?
yes, it's called
Okay.
consecutive appetite.
Wow.
And then when it comes to ADHD, which, you know, that was one of the things I promised to talk about.
Yes.
ADHD, so 68% of the planet is a generator or a manifesting generator in human design. 70% of generators and manifesting generators are misdiagnosed with ADHD. And when they start paying attention to their human design, a lot of their ADHD symptoms go away. And it's the stuff that we all talk about here anyway, as far as like your unique way to flow through the day, your unique style of needing to sleep. I know people who a lot of their problems disappear when they just spend 1 or 2 nights out of the week in the guest room, because they have to be in their own energy for a little bit to repair.
Interesting.
So a lot of my ADHD course goes over the 7 different types of ADHD in the brain, but it goes over what I think is the most important part, which is where is this overlying with your ADHD type, and how can I empower you to live your ADHD type, coming from a manifesting generator who is a spiritual entrepreneur. And the first thing that you're told is to do one thing and to do it really well. And then people will come and then you can do other stuff. Literally like the hardest thing for me to do, as you guys can imagine.
Right.
Like, it's literally impossible. And so when I gave myself permission to do things my way, and I feel like I'm actually meant to be a leader for spiritual entrepreneurs who are manifesting generators who don't want a business coach to tell them to just stick with one thing.
Yeah.
Because we're meant to have all of these resources. And Jenna, something you said earlier sparked something in me that is just so beautiful. I share this stuff not just for you and your family and your clients, but I cannot tell you the number of times I go to a coffee shop, I go to the store and the checkout girl says something, and I lean forward, which means that you can do this. Yes, do it. And like, I literally just give them a little tip about their vitamin D, or I'm like, have you been tested for mold? Like, I literally just channel something that makes them like, whoa,
oh, cool.
So it's
I bet that's a gift that's probably coming through you.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up on.
Yeah. When I leave the house, I'm like, some really cool shit's going to happen today.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer some prayers. And I think that's the whole point, is like, we talk about New Earth and like everyone in their frequency is their currency. We're all helping each other. We have to do it now, and we have to do it in the model that we have now.
Yeah. Yes.
And we never know how much we can help somebody by just sharing something that they probably haven't heard before, or they didn't have the right resource of understanding, right? Like I'll talk like, oh yeah, I take fish oil. And I'm like, where do you get your fish oil?
Right. That's a biggie.
Yeah.
And they're like,
go.
I'm trying to say it like a snake. If you take a Costco fish oil and you take a needle and you poke a hole in it and you squeeze the oil on styrofoam, the styrofoam literally starts disappearing.
No.
It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. So I always tell people, I'm like, if there's an ad on TV, it's probably not good for you. If it's at Walgreens, it's probably not good for you. If you are wanting to learn more of how to trust your intuition, put it to your belly button, stand straight, take a few deep breaths, and say truthfully, God, angels, and guides. And I have a video up for this, you guys, so you can follow the script. God, truthfully, very important word, truthfully, God, angel, and guides of the highest love, light, and truth, is this product for my highest and best? If you lean forward, that means that it's safe to
Muscle
take.
tested.
If you lean back, it means no.
Yeah.
This is using your own intuition, your own connection with source. It's not muscle testing. Muscle testing did not work on me because my subconscious was so traumatized and I didn't even know. My mentor, who is an MD and has like a million doctor degrees, he was getting into this stuff and he's like, I want to muscle test you. You're always down for whatever. I'm like, yeah. And he literally couldn't muscle test me. He's like, you're so blocked in your trauma. And I'm like, well,
wow. I like
know.
doing it with the arms out straight when I'm doing it with another person and they push it down. Because that to me seems like a more of a true test than when I'm like,
definitely,
I could be in conclusion with something.
Yeah. That's why the script of truthfully, God, angel, and guides of the highest love, light, and truth is important because I mean, I had to go through like a 30-day self-healing therapy thing to get rid of my guides that I called in when I was a scared little girl hiding in my closet wanting to die, because that was the energy of somebody. Yes, it was an angel, but it wasn't an angel of the highest love, light, and truth. And I literally had to go through this process of thanking them and releasing them. And I think that's something else that we don't sometimes think about. And
right, because every level of your spiritual growth, or where you elevate, you can essentially get a new team of guides that now are like, okay, this is the way I understand it. They come in to support you and your new evolution of your spiritual growth, right? So that totally makes sense to me that you would have needed to, or move to this new place of, okay, this is my new team.
Wow, fascinating.
Wow.
Let's talk about the offer. I feel like this conversation is just the beginning. In which case we can actually take it so much deeper in the next conversation. Let's talk about this prevention course that you had. I just think it's spectacular. And I think, Fallon, what I'd also like to discuss, and you can say if we do it today or in the other show, but what are the things that we shouldn't be doing?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Biggest most important thing is you need to be drinking really clean, purified water.
Okay.
And ideally warm water with some type of high quality salt in the morning to get your brain. Again, your brain is literally fat and water. Don't look at these videos because it's disgusting, but I will just say that I accidentally clicked on one time because I had a client talking to me about CTE, because CTE can't get diagnosed until you're dead. And there was a doctor holding a human brain of someone with CTE and she's holding it in her hands. And I was like, this is so disgusting. But your brain is soft, like soft butter being in the microwave for about 20 seconds, or Jello. And it's literally just fat and water and, crystals. So the most important thing for it to have are healthy fats and water. And I love my coffee. I love my ceremonial cacao, but I have to have my water first. And if you can invest a few $100s into hydrogen water bottle for yourself, I do recommend.
Yeah, or a second one. My husband broke the first one.
What about an RO system?
RO.
Reverse osmosis?
Yes. That's like ideal, pristine, king, queen activation water.
Okay.
For sure.
That's what I thought.
Yes. That's like the ultimate. Like I cannot wait to have this like beautiful multi-million-dollar kind of cottage, kind of modern house. But the water that comes from the sky becomes my water.
I love it.
Yeah. They just look goofy. If you've ever seen somebody like a hippie who has their own, oh my God, it looks so not cute, but like
we'll make it cute, right?
It's adorable. Yeah. Maybe I need to patent that. Maybe that's my billion-dollar idea.
I love
it. So one of the things that Fallon really, really, really has this heart that she just wants everyone to have these things and have them
reasonably
at a reasonable price point. So please know that this may look like it's not very expensive, but please know that it's regular price is $222.
And the value of it is
is
obviously much
way
more.
beyond that.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's important to start this offer and say, yes, this may only be $55, but this might also change a lot of people's lives. So
Yeah.
with that said, Fallon, do you want to go ahead and go through this? That's a
Yeah,
6-module course.
absolutely. And I will just say, to toot my own horn, I've had a few people reach out to me who wanted to collab, and they're like very high-end business coaches. They're like, you need to be selling this course for $3,000. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because I think of how I want to contribute, and I think of myself as never worrying about money, and that
Yeah.
I live my purpose because that's what I do. Yes, you need to pay something to invest, but $3,000 is, almost half of a hyperbaric chamber. So it doesn't really.
Yeah,
make
you'd rather
sense.
them get that would serve them.
Exactly.
But there's
Exactly.
also people who can do it all. So
That's true.
But yes, it is nice that you do that. Absolutely. Let's talk about this program.
So I love this course so much because it's based on my journey, but most importantly, thousands of my clients who I helped. So I gave the example of the 3 sisters. And then I do have a legit Allie and Noah success story. They were literally like the couple from The Notebook, except that it was him who became a completely different person overnight. And 6 months later, he was healthier and happier than he'd ever be after multiple neurologists at University in Atlanta, who's the World Brain Health Center. It's total fucking bullshit. They told them that there was nothing else that they could do. So all of the case studies that I share are people that I met in person, I hugged, I happy cried with, I sad cried with, I supported. And it's not, if you're here, you know my style. Like, I'm not fluffy. I believe that time and attention is our biggest resource. I didn't make this course long just because I wanted a long course. Like, I made this course as efficient for the information you needed, so that one or many of the stories resonate with you and what you're currently going through, because you're not alone and there is hope. And there's a lot of people that need your help. And I will say that if you go through this course and you absorb the information and you start implementing it, and you're doing your energy work, you're doing your affirmations, you can literally become your own dementia prevention coach with this course. That's why I designed it the way that I did, because I can't be, I'm basically a full-time sales marketing manager for myself. And I'm in these Facebook groups of dementia support, and it just like breaks my heart, but I have to do it. I literally can't stop myself. My fingers just go to the laptop, to the Facebook group.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
Because you're living your purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I can't do it myself. Like, I need more people to understand this. And if I can understand it, you can understand it, because it's literally just learning stories. We all love stories. That's why we're here. That's why we love Sana and Lianka.
Oh.
And it's just sprinkling in this clinical stuff that I literally walk you through. I share it in a way that's, not dumbing you down. But again, I want people to understand this from a fresh lens, because the medical gaslighting and the programming that we've experienced is very severe. And we have to step back and we have to start over. And when I picked a card of like what everyone needs today, crystal magic, shocker. But it's not just about crystal magic. It's about new beginnings. It's about creating something new. It's about allowing the energy of newness to support you, which when we're talking about dementia, I mean, these are people who can't remember their name, but they can remember that special meal that they had when they were 12 years old that their mom made for them. And that's what I tell people that joke about it. Like, you don't get to choose what you forget and what you don't. You don't get to pick and choose the type of dementia that you have. And so when your brain is starting to suffer, it's going to have these symptoms, and some of them you're going to be very aware of and very upset by, and some you're not going to know, but your subconscious is going to know when you see your son looking at you like he's literally just wants to run away and cry, because he knows that you don't know who he is. This is what it's about. It's like, the people that I have in my life are complete angels, like soul family. I've been through so much crazy, horrible stuff in my life. And the thought of me not remembering the amazing times that I've had with the people in my life is just not a negotiable for me. It's not. blocked out a lot of my childhood, and I'm very grateful for that. But the reason that God led me in the path that I did is because of this. This is one of the many things that I'm meant to do. And I'm just so passionate about it because it really does start 20 to 30 years before symptoms come. And the thing that's crazy about, if anyone says the number 28, like that's a confirmation, 28 is actually when a male brain fully develops, if it's developing correctly, and a female brain develops correctly by age 25. I was 28 when my brain showed pre-dementia. My brain had literally just quote unquote developed. And I'm already having to think about this stuff, but I want to think about this stuff. And this is the thing too, is I wasn't scared. I was empowered. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I am this high performing. I am this happy. I have this sharp of a mind. I mean, I remember all of my clients, like 8,000 clients. I remember everything about them. That's not by accident. And it's because I have to share it in a way that is relatable to people who are in that specific situation.
I get that. Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about what exactly is inside this course.
Thank you for reeling me back in.
That's
so
okay.
The Brain Health 101. So, your brain is soft. We talk about the physical way that your brain is built and created, and obviously perfectly divinely aligned, but it is easy to hurt. And a female brain is very different from a male brain. So I go over that, and I throw in some really amazing communication tips based on Alison Armstrong, who I'm like beyond obsessed with, if no one's ever gone into her world. And it's really this information about, okay, this is my physical brain. This is the organ that controls my life. I want to know as much about it that's necessary. And I want to know as much as I can about my unique brain by asking myself these specific questions, doing these specific types of questionnaires, just like a human design, but different, so that you know what's going on in your unique brain, right? We have trillions of cells and connections in our brain. And there's a 1 in a trillion chance that we came to Earth at the time that we did. And that's not by accident.
No, it's not.
Yeah. And then I talk about the different types of dementia. So like I said at the beginning, dementia is an umbrella term. And then we have things like Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, Lewy body, frontotemporal dementia. I show you brain scans of why they're different. I show you some of the symptoms. But again, most of these people are getting an MRI and a CT to get a diagnosis, and the diagnosis isn't accurate. And again, a diagnosis is just for a disorder. We're turning from disorder into divine order, no matter what the diagnosis is. I've seen people with like rare, like very, very rare brain and body issues, and we were able to figure out what it was that they needed. So if you're here, you felt like the exception, and there's a reason that you felt like the exception, and that's because of the medical gaslighting industry wants you to feel like you are so special that there's nothing that they can do for you. And the complete opposite is true. You're so special that there's so much we can do to support you. And once we know your unique brain type, we know your unique human design, we get these lab numbers that most doctors aren't going to run. Then we have this full treatment plan, game plan, and it's literally off to the races of rehabbing your brain as quickly as you can. I mean, I've had people that say, I don't have 6 months, Fallon. Like, I can't do this for 6 months with my mom or my dad. I'm like, okay, we can do it for 2 months, but that means that I'm going to be doing energy healing with you almost every day. And, that's different than doing a course. But when time is of the essence, you just need the right resources. And I mean, you can watch this course in a weekend. You can listen to this course.
Yeah.
And I designed it so you can listen. And then if you need to go back and look at some of the pictures, because the pictures of the brain are very powerful. I will say they really are powerful. But I want you to understand like the sleep, how much that impacts dementia. That's like a whole brand,
huge.
Right? Your hormones, your heart health. If you're taking a statin, it actually increases your chances of Alzheimer's by 90%.
Wow, that's huge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes,
wow.
Statins are bad. And this is the thing when I say pharmaceuticals and stuff, I'm not just talking about Adderall, I'm not just talking about Wellbutrin. I'm talking about anything that requires a doctor writing their stupid little name on it to give you a pill that you have to go to Walgreens, which itself feels like a freaking hospital to me. I hate going to Walgreens. And that's what the energy is. Like, there's literally the only exception to something that you get written on from a prescription, and you do have to go to a compounding pharmacy for, not a Walgreens. Very hippie vibes at the compounding pharmacy, is oxytocin. And that's the natural chemical that's released when a mother is breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. I've had severe PTSD clients, like, haven't left their house in 5 years, and like their life is like 13 Lifetime movies, like all into one. They needed oxytocin because they were so traumatized. That's the one exception of pharmaceutical that I appreciate. But if you learn more about the Great Cholesterol Myth, it's a really great book by Dr. Sinatra. And then I did put here on the landing page too, one of my dear friends is a really fantastic MD, and she just wrote a book called The Blood Pressure Blueprint. And we met through the Amen network like many, many years ago. And everything that she teaches is about like dementia and cancer prevention from the lens of cardiovascular health. So I talk a lot about that in the podcast with her, and then in the course. And then when it comes to root cause, we're not just talking about the labs that need to get done, but, you know, looking at things like your psychological history, your environmental history. You know, I love home environment. That's one of my favorite things, is helping people organize and optimize their home for brain function.
Yeah. That's huge.
All of those, I incorporate that too. Like, you know, if I walked into your house, basically this course is if I walked into your house for a week, which, you know, I do with some people, and I'm teaching you all of the things, but I've been nosy my whole life, and it's paying off. I walk around your house and I'm looking at what you're using to clean your toilet. I'm looking at what's in your sugar thing. Is it really sugar, or is it monk fruit? Even stevia is just, you know, not really that great right now. You know, what's in your fridge? You know what I mean? So it's all of the things. When you do a 360 snapshot of your life and your health and your energy field, where can we pick stuff out? Where can we heal it? And then where can we activate it for your highest and best through all of these different facets?
Love this so much.
Yes.
Okay, so Fallon, just to go back to the package one more time. And again, the link is houthustle.com/Fallon, FALLON -dementia. So again, it's houthustle.com/Fallon-dementia. Okay. So how is this consumed? Is it mostly audio, mostly video?
So the one that always drops the microphone. Surprise.
I have a lot of slides, and I have them downloaded as a PDF, because again, you walking through the world, I literally will just I'll be like, okay, you don't have any money. I'm living in a place where a lot of people are poor. Like, I'm just going to send you the PDF slides of this. And then if you decide you can spend, you know, the $55, like, but the PDF slides are meant to be their own tool. And then when I have the slides up, and then I'm just audio.
Got it. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's so easy to be able to go through in a weekend, and then you can really sit with it, and you have lifetime access. So it's one of those things that, like, every time I learn something, and I've, you know, studied some of the stuff that you'd sent over before, and we're just, you know, gone through it lightly. But every time we talk, I'm like, oh, you know, like there's so much more to learn, and there's so much more to be introduced to. Yeah. So you do get that opportunity to really be with the content.
I mean, I look at my own slides sometimes. I'm like, what was that statistic again?
Yeah,
sure. I wanted to share, if you have ADHD, if you have ADHD diagnosis, you have 4 times more likely to develop dementia. Yeah. Is your ADHD doctor telling you that when they give you a stimulant?
Yeah.
No.
And it's funny, my husband is on statins, and I was like, so what are the side effects? And he's like, well, they say there's literally none. But since his mom has dementia, that is of a concern.
How long has he been on it?
It's been about a year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Usually people see 6 months, they see something where it's like muscle tension, Charlie horse kind of stuff, but memory loss. I mean, my job for a long time at Amen Clinics was doing the first thing I would do with a client is going through their whole medical history. It's like 40 pages of stuff. And their medication history, we went through every single thing that they've ever taken, even if they took it once. And a lot of people who had dementia, it started 6 to 12 months after they had started a statin because they were already at risk because they were older. So I would definitely look at the great cholesterol myth. And then I would definitely look at supplements and herbs that are helpful for for cholesterol and blood sugar. And this is the thing about cholesterol from the lens of Dr. Bredesen. And I know his learning style isn't for everything. He's very much a neurologist. If you Google him, you're like, that's a doctor that looks at brains. But he's just so sweet and he's such a good heart. But so cholesterol-like molecules, remember when I was talking about the cells and the APOE gene where there's the traffic cop that sometimes doesn't do a good job for some people who have the APOE4 variant? So what they're doing is it's not just cells that they're transporting, it's cholesterol-like molecules. So cholesterol, when we're talking about plaques and people are talking about amyloid and plaques and TAC and all these fancy words that I can't pronounce that keys in them, what we're really talking about is the cholesterol-like molecules in the brain. And when we're talking about cholesterol-like molecules, we need to start thinking more about cholesterol. And that's something that we've been very misinformed about. And I use the example of like when we were told that red meat and eggs were bad. You know,
they're still telling them that. There's
so
something in my energetic system that's like, no, this is so incredibly delicious. How is this bad for me?
And the thing is I just tell people, I'm like, are you happy? And this is what I preach to people. I'm like, are you happy? Do you feel like you are your highest and best? And if you say yes, and you're doing whatever you want, whenever you want, and eating whatever you want, then that's fine and dandy. I've been eating frozen custard from the Amish this week. And I tell you what, I feel like $1 million. And normally when I have dairy, I break out, and I haven't because it's literally like so luxurious. And I'll be honest, like if I disappear and just marry an Amish man, it's a possible timeline because it's just like so simple, and their fruit and vegetables and food is just so beautiful and so good. Anyway, I digress. But that's actually that's a code for somebody. The Amish, they don't get dementia, they don't get autism, they don't get autoimmune disorders, they don't do medication.
They're not around all these EMTs and technology, you know.
But it's a lot of it is the pills though. Like they're like, why would you take a pill? I saw a post the other day of these really cute little African boys. They're very, very dark skinned, and they were talking on the playground. It's like, did you know in America that they're telling kids that they have to sit still every day for 5 days a week, and if they don't, that they have to get taken poison medication? We should start a GoFundMe to support them and to get them out of America.
Hilarious.
It was so cute.
That is really cute.
Oh, they want to rescue our children because they're poor little children.
Yeah. Wow. How sweet is that?
I know.
All right. Just a few questions still.
Yes. This is a big one, and I'm so grateful Paula asked it.
She says, how does dementia and Alzheimer's differ from Parkinson's?
So to me, it doesn't matter. It's just a symptomology that's different. So when we talk about, the power button on your phone, you know, it has the line here, and then it has the smiley. That's actually the pattern that we see on a brain SPECT scan where someone is having significant cognitive decline, which is ironic that it's a power button. And so the only thing that's different is with Parkinson's, the first thing to go for them, that's not the typical 3 places, here, and then the back, is their basal ganglia. So the basal ganglia is the anxiety center. I've rarely found anyone, even if they're a little kid with ADHD, who had a normal functioning basal ganglia, because that's honestly what the EMFs are targeting. And so supplements like GABA and theanine and taurine help regulate that part of the brain called the basal ganglia. So a lot of people who are worried about Parkinson's specifically, if they just use GABA, and this is one of those instances where you could do other things that help with GABA, like lemon balm or eat a banana every day. There's a lot of different foods that enhance GABA. But if you're treating that part of the brain that is the first to go with Parkinson's, that you're not going to have the Parkinson's symptoms, which is why a lot of people with Parkinson's are put on an anticonvulsant medication, because anticonvulsants they boost GABA, but they do it through pharmaceutical means versus supplements and foods and even herbs that can help with that. And from a spiritual perception, so dementia, Alzheimer's, sometimes they're just not there, right? Cognitively. Other times they're taking off at night and stealing candy bars. I had a client who did that, running naked down the street to get her candy bar. I'm like, oh my God, this poor family. Parkinson's, like they start shaking. So it's a very different thing where, why am I shaking? Am I scared? Am I overwhelmed? So when I have someone that's worried about Parkinson's, I recommend the same things like the Bredesen, Recode, doing some type of brain imaging, whether it's, psychic or going to an actual facility. But then this is where the quantum stuff comes in, because Parkinson's is very, to me, and this is just how I've always felt about it.
Sure.
It goes after very sensitive souls. And I kind of use that example, and I don't know why this is coming up, but I hate horror movies. I hate news. I don't like anything like that. But there's a reason why a lot of these movies and stories of children who like get possessed and then like kill their family, it's because they actually had special codes in them that were of the highest frequencies. And then there was some type of portal that was open. My biggest lesson for my cat, you've got to be very cognizant of portals, because it doesn't take much. It could literally just be a quarter size of a portal. And then they grab them. And I think that there's something spiritually where some of these dark entities are grabbing people, and it's looking like Parkinson's, because it is very different presentation and the shaking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I honestly, because so many of the symptoms are related to the shaking, I feel like some people with Parkinson's actually can get better even faster, because we do the quantum stuff on top of everything, like as vigorously as possible.
Yeah.
Only because like I said, a lot of people that come to me, they need to know, like, am I doing the right things? Like, showing me their supplement bottles, showing me their lab work. And then I'll intuitively usually pick up the big ones that people are missing. They haven't healed their past injury. They're not doing enough hyperbaric oxygen. They have mold toxicity, or they have Lyme. And then I help them get the right protocol for those specific things. That takes about 8 weeks for mold and Lyme to leave the body. And then the hyperbaric, I encourage people to do, at least 90 sessions, which means 2 a day for 45 days minimum. But they're just very special. And I do think of Michael J. Fox, because I don't know, I just always really liked him. And of course, anyone who plays themselves on Curb Your Enthusiasm immediately is like my tribe, because I'm obsessed with Larry David.
The more we have this conversation, I'm just like fascinated by this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And I want to keep going, but I don't want to,
we want to be on of the time for sure.
Yeah, we just want to honor your time. And I really feel like we'll get more next week.
Yes. Bring the question. I know. It's a great question. And Paula, be sure to join us too for live, and we'll answer that question too.
Yeah. And Paula, people don't have to be into the woo. It's I make people fill out an application to work with me in that type of energy healing container. And if their higher self is going to give me permission, then I have permission to do what I can to support their brain. And all I'm doing is sending Christed light. And I send like golden sparkly light with a little bit of mint green. And that's it. They don't have to get on a call with me. I'm not going to make them sing Kumbaya. I'm not going to have them pulling energy stuff out of them.
Yeah.
If my job is to support their physical vessel, I have to do that through the energy too. And it doesn't have to, because I've had people that I wasn't even into this woo stuff for most of my career, but I still have the best published outcomes out of anybody that was in my role. And it's because I was doing this just because of the frequency. I mean, there's a reason why some people only come to me for one session and they don't need anything after that.
Yeah. So because they have a formula, they have a system, they have a plan.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I'm always upfront too. If like you're like the first person out of 30,000 that I don't think I can help, I will let you know, but that day hasn't yet come.
Bless you.
And I love old people. Like I love old people and kids. So there's a reason why I love helping old people heal. So that again, like they can teach you, the burnt out caregiver, how to do things for yourself.
Yes.
But then you can also help your kids with this, because your kids, again, they're seeing this and they're like, I don't want to be changing mom's didiaper. I don't want to walk into her house and see explosive diarrhea
Nobody
everywhere.
wants it.
And I don't want that for my children either.
Exactly.
And think in Joe's case, he's like, we didn't want to put my mom in a home, but it's not like we could be there 24/7 watching her do this stupid stuff all day long. You know, that she was like, you know, like brushing her teeth with like toxic stuff instead of toothpaste, because she, you know, it's just kind of like whatever I'm supposed to do, in a habit of grabbing a tube, right?
Oh, that's what I was gonna, sorry.
Go ahead.
Why I was talking about helping kids and adults who are defiant. I've worked with some people who literally thought their kids were trying to kill them. That's the type of dementia they had. Okay. And I still helped them because people, if you want to work with me, like you just trust me, people feel comfortable around me. But I did things in a way that was, you know, some people might say is sneaky or unethical, but I did it anyway. Grandma's addicted to Coke. Okay. Go buy a Coke bottle, pour that shit in your toilet because it's an amazing toilet cleaner. And then we're going to fill it back up with Zevia. No one's going to notice. Toothpaste. They're very addicted to this type of toothpaste. That's fine. We're going to squeeze it out and refill it with something. They're never going to know the difference.
I gotcha.
So there's things that you can do, because again, I've worked with families who are like, we will do anything that you tell us, but they're just so defiant and they don't want to do any of the things. And I'm like, that's fine. We can work. Like the food is such a big thing. If we can get them just changing a few things with the toxins and we can get them in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, that's the big thing.
And then they'll start feeling better and they'll start going, wait, that
and I've never had a
chamber
client,
does work.
I've never had someone who couldn't get in the chamber. And that's kind of wild because, like I said, one of my favorite clients literally thought her daughters were trying to kill her. So she wouldn't go in the hyperbaric chamber unless one of them went in there with her. She thought it was a portal to death. And her 2 adult daughters, and she was so cute. And that's the thing too. I can see who they really are in their soul. And I'm like, I don't believe you. You're not really this bitchy at all. So the 2 adult daughters took turns with doing the hyperbaric treatments with her. One of them, all of a sudden, weeks later, is like not having panic attacks anymore. She's able to go off her medication. Benzos, so things like Klonopin, Ativan. Every time you take one, it literally takes months off of your brain health.
Oh.
Yes, it's really devastating. And then
is that an ADH drug, Klonopin?
Anxiety typically.
Okay.
But doctors give out whatever you want for candy. I got my giant,
you know, I'm really lucky. I just feel really lucky that my parents were like, no, you know, you don't need to go to a Western doctor ever. Because you know, and basically if I had to take an antibiotic, they were like on a strict protocol around the probiotics and the prebiotics, like went from when I was itty bitty. They're like, well, now that you took one, eat your yogurt now, you know, and and it just, you know, kicked in. And that's why I studied nutrition. And then seeing my Aunt Babe, who's 97 years old and still gardening, you know, it's really, she is from Sicily, by the way. So that's
Blue zone.
She was a blue zone, and she lives like a blue zone. Like she eats from the garden, and you know, she walks, and she is sad when she can't like get out to walk because it's too cold, you know, stuff like that.
That's
but you know, she's like reads all day, every day, works her brain. You know, you see that, and you're just like, you know what? Maybe I do need to do just a little more of that kind of lifestyle.
There was a 122-year-old woman who I feel like she was probably in Sicily. She smoked 2 cigarettes a day. She ate 2 squares of dark chocolate a day. She drank wine every day, gardened every day, and walked to visit her friends every day. And I think that's also the key, because a lot of these places in Europe, you're actually walking uphill. So you're strengthening your quads and your glutes, which are the biggest muscles in your body.
I think that they're
There's a lot of that.
happy there. I
Yeah.
think there's a frequency of
sure.
happiness within
Mhm.
that culture
That's
too.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I feel that within her, like she's just, and she's watched everyone die in front of her. And she doesn't really have this goal to live to 100, but she's like, I probably will.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
I
I'm
mean, I
like,
was
I'm probably gonna live
bring
for a
her on
really
the
long time.
show. I've talked with her for like 2 hours
Yeah,
one
we
night.
just-
Oh my
It'd be funny.
God.
Yeah,
I would love that. At some point I think I might start doing more interviews with people
Yeah.
who are living that lifestyle.
I
Now
love
Yeah,
that.
wouldn't that
now
be
they'll,
neat?
they'll
I mean,
come to me because
literally,
I'm thinking
that's-
about it.
That's
Mhm.
like the real biohacking, right? It's
Yeah.
the real epigenetics.
Yeah.
And that's just living the lifestyle without having to, I mean, it's organic, it's real,
Yeah,
right?
it's very
It's
real.
authentic. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot we can learn from wisdom there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow. Thank you. We could really talk with you every day, all day.
So excited. We're going to have you back for the summit. We'll
Yeah.
definitely dive in more and we'll take this conversation deeper and funner. And my goodness, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you. And I'm so excited to hang out with you guys next week.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. And we'll be back on Thursday just for a simple conversation with Yolanda. And then it's all summit all day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
If you aren't signed up, please do. It's helphustle.com/summit.
SUMMIT.
And you can also get text message reminders now that will just show up right before the show.
Look
So
at
I'm
you
really proud of
guys.
that new little technology thing that we added.
Yeah, we're really excited. And also you
Amazing.
get tons of free gifts and all of the speakers we truly believe in love. They have come to us with so many great insights and we're just really honored to be able to put together this really great forum for everyone. Always a free resource,
Yeah.
so there's no charge to get signed up. And again, you can do that at howhustle.com/summit. And we get started at 9 a.m. Pacific and we get 3 speakers a day. So let's go. Yay.
And just so you know, and with some of these packages like Fallon's that will be in the summit, where there will be a limited time box around some of these. So just be aware next week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you
Fallon, any last words?
Healing is always possible, and I can teach you how.
Yes, you can. Thank you so much. It's so
Thank
nice
you.
that you do this bridge from, spiritual healing,
love
body
it.
energy healing to like real scientific stuff.
Well, thank
Yes.
you. And I think of you saying that the first time you said it to me all of the time, and it makes me feel better.
Absolutely. You're fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you everyone so much for coming and asking your questions. It really helps me to feel like I'm serving you in the best way I can. So love to everyone.
Thank you.
Just a couple more announcements. We do have a live event and it is happening November 7th through the 9th here in Austin, Texas. It'll be a really cool retreat style, very intimate. We're excited.
Yep.
And you can find the link for that, Jenna.
At
Howhustle.
house.com/event.
Thank you. Event. So we're excited. And if you have any questions, just email us at team@howhustle.com. And if you're joining us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Maybe even leave a comment. We've had so many great comments in the chat today. Would love to hear from you. And Fallon would love to see some of those beautiful comments on the YouTube as well. Plus, it also tells the algorithm, hey, this is the kind of information we want to flood the earth with. So help us to create more of a community here and, share what you like. And thank you for joining us always.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you guys. We'll see you on.
Let's try our closing. Let's see.
Okay.
We're How Hustle, and we're reminding you to take a little time to
Enjoy your woo.
yay. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.